Howdy folks, welcome back to Boondockery. Today's video is going to be focusing on the AOFAR HX 1200T Rangefinder. Now, quite a while ago when I was putting together my recce patrol rig, I was specifically looking for optics in order to help me estimate range. And I looked at a lot of rangefinders, and the ones that I really liked, they were expensive, especially in the ranges that I wanted to have one. And so I opted to go with the Vortex Solo 8x36 monocular. It has a built-in reticle, which is very similar to the military's MilDot system. And I could use that to estimate ranges. However, I was not going to get true rangefinder accuracy with that. So I went ahead and wrote off rangefinders, and I went with the monocular. It's a great monocular. I like it a lot. However, I know that it is going to have inaccuracies because of me estimating ranges. Well, not too long after that, after I made that decision, the company AOFAR asked if I would be interested in receiving one of their rangefinders and checking it out and to do a video on my thoughts. And I figured, well, yeah, that would be great. Well, unfortunately, my life has been turned upside down, inside out, and turned 8 ways to backwards. And it's been a very long time for me to be able to find time to get out and actually use some of the products that people have sent me for reviews. And so I finally have been able to squeeze in time here and there to where I've been able to put the AOFAR rangefinder through some paces and offer my thoughts on those. I'll go over the general information, of course, but I'm going to tell you what I think of it thus far. Now, granted, most of my reviews, my formal reviews, they come after a long period of time, sometimes years after I get these things, before I feel that I know enough about them with the certainty to be able to rely good, honest, from experience information to all of you. So I've not yet had that, but I have had enough experience with the rangefinder to where I'm fairly confident that I can put this video out there and give you enough information to where if you're interested in possibly purchasing a rangefinder, you might want to check it out and do a little bit of homework on your own to see if that might be an option for you. Now, if by chance you hear sirens, don't worry about it. The feds aren't coming after me, at least not just yet. What that is an explosives manufacturer, which is about a mile in that direction, and this happens to be Sunday. On Sunday, they do their underground test shots. Now, you're not going to hear any of the explosions from this explosives manufacturer, but you are going to be hearing the state-mandated siren blast before and after each one of those shots. So if you hear that, forget about it. When I was in the United States Army, I was a U.S. Cav Scout. And one of the things that we learned was multiple different ways on how to estimate ranges. When I was assigned to my permanent duty station at Troop Delta 10th United States Cavalry, part of the 194th Armored Brigade, back when it was in the Rapid Deployment Force, not a training brigade. Pooey! Now, that aside, I had to spend about a year on a tank. And for a scout, that just didn't go over real well. However, during that time, I occupied every position of the tank, including gunner. I was on a M60A3 heavy tank. main battle tank. And one of the most high-tech pieces of equipment on that tank was the laser rangefinder. Now, this is old tech, really old tech now, but the amount of space that the computer and the actual laser took up in the tank was huge. It was a huge amount of space. The system was big, really heavy, all these components and stuff. But what it basically did is when you were going to shoot your main gun at a target, it could have a lot of different variables as to your accuracy. However, the laser rangefinder, what that would do is it doesn't work like a projectile. A projectile has to deal with the effects of wind, it has to deal with the effects of gravity and everything else. A laser just go ding, perfectly straight right out to it. So what the laser rangefinder would do is it would go to the target, bounce back, and it would calculate any type of changes that the main gun would need to make in order to make an accurate shot, and it automatically adjusted that in the gun. So when the gunner pulled the triggers, he was going to hit his target without any concern whatsoever. That was my experience with a laser rangefinder. AOFAR has basically taken that technology, and it's not just AOFAR, I know. All kinds of people do it now because the advances in technology. But to scale all of that hugeness that I first became aware of down to a package like this is mind-blowing. And this thing weighs like 6 ounces. I'm going to go ahead and show you what comes with it, and then we're going to talk about it. Now, I have been playing with this for a good little bit of time now. I actually took it to our high school football field and set up political signs, you know, the kind that say vote for so-and-so, at different ranges on the football field because it was already marked to test its accuracy. And it was dead on the whole time. Beautiful thing about this, fits right in your pocket. The set comes in this particular model, the HX 1200T, is primarily designed for bow hunting or precision shooting when it comes to hunting, when you need to calculate a lot of different aspects of what you would need to consider when you're taking that shot. Of course, you have your instruction manual. I have my receipt. You have a little carrying case, and it has variable ways that you can attach this. You can do your belt loop through here, you can do a belt loop through here, and it's velcroed so you can actually put that on shoulder straps of a backpack, a harness rig, what have you. And it's got a nice little buckle on there to keep it on there. And it seems to be pretty well made. Looks like about 300D nylon. It's not bad. And in the bottom we have a lanyard, we have a D-ring, we have a lens cleaning cloth, we have a little quick reference guide to all of their products, and a business card. But those are the items that come in the box. Now let's take a closer look at the rangefinder itself. The AOFAR HX 1200T hunting/archery rangefinder is a masterpiece in simplicity. It's simple in its design, and it's super simple in its function, which I absolutely love. I do not like things that are overly complicated. As far as the features, you can see it's made out of a heavy-duty polystyrene. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce the actual proper type of styrene because I would butcher it. On the top and on the bottom, you have a rubberized textured surface to improve your grip on that so you don't lose grasp of it. On the other side, you have the battery cap. You just unscrew that, lock it back down. It has a nice seal in there. It's billed as being waterproof. I've not had it in a pouring rain. I've not dropped it in a stream yet, so I do not know the accuracy of that. On the back, you have a loop for a lanyard or a wrist strap. You have your primary lens, and you have a lens adjustment, which is primarily designed for those that wear glasses, so you can remove your glasses and adjust your focus to where you have a crystal clear vision. The reticle that shows up on the inside, the LCD reticle, is also adjusted in this same adjustment, so you get a crystal clear view of the LCD reticle as you adjust it for your vision. On the front, you have the laser emitter and the front lens. There's two buttons on this to operate it. You have power and you have the mode. Power, push it once, it pops up the reticle. Push it twice, it'll shoot a laser to your target and will give you the correct information as far as range, declination, things like that, right back to you instantaneously. And this is on a timer. So after, I think it's 6 seconds, it automatically turns off, so you never have to worry about destroying the life of your battery because you forgot to turn the thing off. While it's on, you can change the mode from rangefinder to bow hunting range mode. And there is a little bit of a difference, and I'll talk about that in just a moment. That is the HX 1200T, and it's all of its simplicity. Now let's talk a little bit about the specifications. The HX 1200T has a fixed zoom of 6 power. It can accurately measure distances from 5 yards to 1,200 yards. And when it is on its bow hunting mode, it accurately calculates the differences in range between the angle and the horizontal distance of your prey. I'll talk more about that in just a few minutes. The way the rangefinder is constructed, it's considered to be dust proof. The lenses are supposed to be fog proof, and the entire device is supposed to be waterproof. The rangefinder is accurate within plus or minus 1 yard. It weighs 6.7 ounces or 190 grams. The dimensions are 4.8 inches by 1.7 inches by 2.8 inches. It takes one CR2 battery. It has a 2-year limited warranty for support, and any questions that you have about this, you simply notify AOFAR and they promise to get right back to you. So that's a pretty good company that's willing to put that out there. Usually you have to get online, jump through a whole bunch of hoops, and then be completely ignored. I haven't had any issue with this, so I haven't had a reason to test that out, but hopefully they'll stand by their word. Now, the reason this is particularly useful for bow hunters is because a lot of times bow hunters are actually up in a tree. They're in a tree stand. They want to be up above the prey for a lot of different reasons. Most bow hunters will have pin settings for their sights on whether it's a compound bow or even a crossbow. Some crossbows, I mean, they have scopes and everything else. They shoot pretty much like rifles. But as far as a compound bow, that's usually the type of sights they have. When they sight those in, it's almost always at a horizontal distance. And when you're up above, let's say down that hill, about 30 yards away from the base of this tree is my target. However, where my deer stand is, the distance between where I am and my prey could be 45. So there's a big difference. I've sighted my bow in at a horizontal distance. If I use what, I estimate my ranges from up there, I could overshoot or undershoot. This, when I'm up in the tree stand, I simply turn it on. There's a sight reticle. I click it, and now I have two distances from my angle here on the ground. The horizontal distance is 12 meters. The actual vertical, the diagonal distance, the angle, is 15. So that's quite a significant difference. So you would want to use the horizontal distance to make that shot. This calculates all of it for you, so it's a no-brainer. Now, I just took about a half an hour trying to get a shot with my GoPro so you could actually see the reticle in use. Now, it's literally about a second long, but I'm going to put it in there so you can at least see how the reticle works, and when I pushed power the second time, it actually ranged an accurate distance. Now, this is something that, it just came on me to do it, and I'm just going to do it. They talked about how rugged this thing was. Well, let's see. Yeah, let's go look at it.
There it is. Chucked it and it bounced off this tree.
A little dirty. That's okay, we're going to wash it off. Let's go down to the creek.
Yeah, let's get some of that dirt off of there.
Let's get that other side in there. Gotta get all that dirt off.
Look at all that water running out of it.
I don't know.
We're gonna see. We're gonna see if that's waterproof or not. Let's get up there and dry it off and see what we can see. Give it a good thorough drying. Let's see. Don't really know if wiping off the outside is going to do any good about what happened on the inside, but we will see. Okay, we're going to go power on. Ooh, not good. Not good at all. I see water droplets inside of it. Oh, wait, there's puddling. Water's shifting down on the inside. And there's a little bit of a reticle thing going on there. But no. That right there, not waterproof. Now I'm certain the fine print was saying within so many meters or things like that. I'd say maybe in a light mist to a rain, maybe. Drop it in the creek. Nope. So I'm going to go ahead and do what we do with all electronics that we drop in the bathtub, drop in the pool, drop in the creek, drop in the lake, drop in the creek. I'm going to take it home, put it in some rice, and see how it fares tomorrow. Well, folks, two things that could most definitely happen to this rangefinder. One of which being dropped out of a deer stand and taking a tumble
in the forest floor, which it seemed to do okay with, and also being dropped in a creek. Both very realistic situations which could occur to a bow hunter. Now, I'm going to have to put this in rice and leave it in there for a couple days to see if it recovers. And I'll have to make another little section there to add into this. So I will do my sign off then. But even if I do get this back to where it's functional again, it didn't really hold up to its waterproof statement. Well, let's see what happens. Well, folks, it's been 3 weeks since I shot the first part of this video. And since then, the AOFAR rangefinder has been in this bag of rice. And today we're going to find out if by any chance drying it out in the rice was able to save it. Here goes. It's dusty, so I'm definitely going to have to clean up the lens or lenses. I'll dig around here to find the battery. I took the battery out just as soon as I got to the house before I put the rangefinder in the rice. I'm gonna wipe that battery off. Now the battery housing has been closed. Put that right in there. This is spring-loaded, very fine threads. Okay, I'm going to wipe it down real quick, and then we're going to see if it works. Now remember, folks, the way this functions is you push the power button, and then you push it again to laze your distance, and that's it. So let's see if it works. Okay, I do have a very clear reticle. Okay, let's try a bigger target. Well, it is not performing. I'm holding on the mode button to change the modes. Nothing's happening. Try one more time to laze. And no, this does not work. Now, I did 2 impromptu tests, one of which I simulated it being dropped from a deer stand, which basically I chucked the thing. Looked at it, it looked fine. It's still, there's no cracks. I've looked at it pretty extensively. No cracks, there's no damage to the exterior of this. And then when I dropped it in the creek, you know, that stuff kind of happens. And I picked it up and water was draining out of it. Now, that very easily could have been due to damage of being dropped, but bouncing across the duff floor and the forest, I don't think should have done any damage to it. And so the damage from the simulated dropping very easily could have made a little bit of a crack. But when I picked this thing up out of the water, water was draining out of it everywhere, not just in like 1 or 2 spots. It was draining out of everywhere. And the sealed battery compartment also had water in it. So it is not waterproof. And even after using my rice method, it does not work. The reticle comes up and that is it, which is really sad. This is really sad because I really wanted this. I really wanted to have a decent rangefinder to put in my Recce Patrol rig, but I guess I'm going to have to save up and either get a Vortex or a Loophole or one that is a much more established brands. But after my use of this, I liked it until I put it through some real conditions that they would experience in the field, and it failed. So this is a product I could not recommend at all. For the price, for what it is, and the fact that you could never get it wet, no, I could not recommend this, folks. So AOFAR, I'm sorry, this could have been the one lemon in your entire inventory that you sent me, but this one failed the test. Well, folks, as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Quite a while ago, when I was piecing together my When I was in the Army as a scout, we were taught different methods of estimating range, but it was always an estimate. Now, unfortunately, because of now, I was in the Army, I was a Cav Scout, and we were taught various ways to estimate ranges. When I was assigned to my permanent duty station, it's made out of a type of a polystyrene, and I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce it. Yeah, it's a very long 3-letter title, and it is loaded with professional pin seeker technology. And to be perfectly honest with you folks, I have no clue what that is. I guess I should find that out.